Who is Meghan Markle? Hello, this is Gary, your friendly neighbourhood psychologist, psychotherapist, family therapist, looking at who is Meghan Markle. So, the next chapter is her first marriage. Okay, so Meghan's first marriage. She was married to somebody called Trevor Engelson, and Meghan and Trevor first met in a Los Angeles bar in 2004. Now, this is rather interesting to me because Engelson was already a talent agent and a producer. Did she already know who he was, or was it a total surprise just that she didn't know that Harry was a prince? Trevor Engelson founded his production and management company Underground, originally Underground Films, in 2001. He produced various films and TV series and so on and so forth. Now, would it be a stretch to say that he was someone that was useful, who was helpful? Who knows? But I find it very interesting that she got involved with him basically at the beginning of her career. So was he useful to her? Yes, I think so. I think he was useful to her. There are various people that have mentioned the fact that Engelson occasionally introduced Meghan to industry contacts and supported her during her early struggles. I would think so. People who themselves have good contacts and ways to meet people obviously talk to people about her and try and help to get her into the business. He did cast her from time to time in his own projects, but not a lot. I find that very interesting. When you've got a young girlfriend who's an actress and you're producing films, you might well imagine you'd push her a lot into your own projects. But he didn't. Now, there are people who say her acting is actually quite mediocre. Meghan Markle's brief and uneventful acting career was over before she married Prince Harry. She wasn't exactly winning over audiences with her masterful portrayals. Before Suits, she struggled to land decent parts and was frequently cast in minor roles, often typecast as eye candy, making Suits her primary claim to fame rather than part of a long, distinguished acting resume. He was already making contacts, he was already producing stuff, he was already a person that could be useful. To say he didn't help her in her projects to become an actress, I think is a bit of a nonsense. However, in interviews, Meghan Markle has constantly framed her casting in Suits as the result of personal perseverance, self-belief, and individual effort, emphasizing that she made it through hard work and resilience rather than help or connections. She's spoken about years of struggling as an actress, juggling auditions with side jobs, and facing repeated rejection before finally landing what she described as a breakthrough role. That she had no help from anybody else, and certainly no help from him, I find to be very unfair and unreasonable. If you're in the world of television and film, and you have somebody who introduces you to people, sooner or later the chances are you'll get something. Then in 2011 she got a breakthrough in Suits, which is at the same time that she actually got married to Trevor Engelson in Jamaica. Now it's really interesting, this marriage, because what it says is that they had a marriage over multiple days in Jamaica. So it was a big deal. According to my good friend Google, Meghan Markle and Trevor Engelson were married at the Jamaica Inn in Ocho Rio, Jamaica on August 16, 2011. The ceremony was a 4-day event with a beachfront celebration that included local traditions and activities for the guests. Obviously, the Jamaica Inn is a luxury hotel. Must have cost an awful lot of money. So now we come to the question of the breakup. They got married in 2011, and yet in 2000, only 2 years later, when she became more successful, there was a separation, citing irreconcilable differences. The explanation given was the long-distance relationship. However, a direct flight between Los Angeles and Toronto takes around 5 hours, with multiple direct flights every day. I also looked at Meghan's filming schedule for Suits. Season 1 filmed January to June 2011. Season 2 filmed February to October 2012. Season 3 filmed April to November 2013. That means she lived in Toronto only about 6 months a year initially, with long stretches back in the US. There were ample opportunities for the couple to meet even during filming months. In fact, according to Meghan's maid of honor at the time, Ninika Pridi,
Trevor was so supportive. He traveled back and forth from LA, and there was a lot of Skyping and FaceTiming going on.
The divorce was finalized in 2014. It was a no-fault divorce with no financial settlement, no lawyers, and very little public comment. Royal biographer Andrew Martin described the divorce.
The divorce was a bolt from the blue. Trevor, his friends, and his family were completely shocked.
According to reports, the wedding ring was returned by post rather than face-to-face, intensifying feelings of abandonment. To further quote Ninika,
Trevor would have walked the earth to make the marriage work. Meghan pulled the rug out from under him, leaving him emotionally devastated.
Trevor remained mostly silent for several years. In a rare interview, he later stated that the relationship changed overnight as Meghan's fame grew, and he felt sidelined and discarded. So the questions remain. Did she benefit from the relationship? And when it was no longer useful, did she simply end it? Just discard him like an old sock? Well, that is the story of her first marriage. So now we move on to the next chapter, Meghan's men. Hope you enjoyed this. I certainly did. So please subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, and I'll see you next Monday. Kindest, Gary.